Welcome to Conversations Live. For more than a decade, we've brought you the best in books, entertainment, celebrity interviews, and current events. When the movers and shakers of the world have something to say to you, they say it to us first. Now celebrating 17 years of broadcasting success, here's your host, Cyrus Webb.
And welcome back, everyone, to Conversations Live. I'm your host, Cyrus Webb. Glad you all could join us once again, both for our radio audience here in the South at WYAD 94.1 FM and WYADonline.com. We're glad you all could join us. Also, those tuning in through our friends at iHeartRadio as well as Amazon Music Podcast. We're glad you guys could be with us as well. Well, one of the things I think all of us have in common is we've definitely been spending more time inside this year than we probably have in the past. Some of us, whether we wanted to or not. And the weather, of course, is changing, even for us here in the South. And so it's very important that we're taking care of ourselves and doing so in a safe way. We're really excited to welcome Tony Kovicak to our program today. Tony is with Lux Therapy. We're going to talk to Tony not only about the developing of Lux, but also what it's been like for him to provide a service that people can literally take advantage of at home to take care of themselves and their skin, and, of course, why it's so important for him as an individual who definitely loves adventure to make sure that people are being taken care of at home as well. If you guys are just now finding out about Lux, of course we'll let you guys know how to be able to find out more information. But, Tony, really appreciate the time today.
Hey, Cyrus, thank you for having me and appreciate your time as well.
Look, the pleasure's definitely all mine. I was just sharing with you, Tony, before we went on here. I had a chance to watch a short film about you as I was prepping for the segment, and I thought it was such a great segue into what you're doing with Lux Therapy. So I want to talk about the adventures of being an entrepreneur, first of all. I mean, this has been definitely an interesting year, to say the least. What has it been like for you to help people meet that challenge with Lux Therapy?
You know, Cyrus, I appreciate you bringing me on again and actually giving me time to kind of talk. It's been amazing. You know, I've talked with a lot of people about this. I feel like I'm always selling red light, you know, and talking to people about it. But really, it's the passion associated with something like this because, you know, over time I've utilized these modalities in order to improve my own wellness. But seeing, like, for example, my 75-year-old mother incorporated into her life, it really just gives me the fuel needed to kind of bring this to the masses. And overall, that's kind of what Lux Therapy is. We're trying to improve people's wellness at a cellular level, and we think we found a great product, and I think people will agree once they implement it.
Yeah. I'm so glad you mentioned that before we go any further here, Tony, because I think this is something that people should look at that the entire family can be able to benefit from, and so we'll get more to that. Did it seem almost inevitable for you, though, Tony, as I said, you know, in watching that doc about you, you know, kind of taking this literal journey? Did entrepreneurship seem like something professionally that you were just going to inevitably do?
Yes, but in looking back on it, it was very serendipitous how red light therapy actually entered my life. You know, you mentioned the doc, which is great. I'm blushing a little bit, and it's one of those things that I had never really planned, but I knew when I had taken that journey, you know, I wanted to travel for a year, and I started off by taking, you know, 4 months and traveling on my pedal bike across the country. I started in Florida and ended in Oregon, you know, and one of my biggest fears actually for the whole trip was that I wouldn't really be able to physically do it, that I would have some form of aches and pains. You know, at that time I was 38 and I was pretty healthy, but at the end of the day, I still had like normal aches and pains and issues that would just kind of spring up. You know, I wasn't a 20-year-old anymore, and just normal day to day, like I'd have issues with my Achilles heel and, you know, plantar fasciitis and hip issues and muscle and things of that nature. And as I had started on that journey, what I really found and what became clear when I found out about red light therapy 3 or 4 years later is being out in nature, in the sun, and actually having a high level of vitamin D and other types of like light therapies in my life took care of all of those types of issues. And the things that I had really worried about, like I had taken a lot of medications, and not a lot, but things like asthma and you know, allergy medicine that I just would take every day. I would have normal allergies throughout the season. All that went away. All the aches and pains went away. And frankly, I wasn't really eating that well. I was eating like things along the way that were convenient, but my body was just, it turned into a machine, and I actually finished the trip no problems, and look back on it and was really surprised at actually how well I performed. And I think looking at it, that combined with once I started understanding the benefits of light therapy and researching it, it became clear why I was actually able to do that trip in the way that I did it.
Yeah. So I want to talk about this because, honestly, I knew very little about light therapy, to be honest with you, Tony, before prepping for this segment. But I went to the Mayo Clinic website because they had a whole section on it, which I thought was amazing. But I thought it was interesting because it in the connection that we're talking about it here with Lux, in that this year people, of course, spending more time inside, which means that we're not, outside, which, of course, we're not getting the outdoor light, but also, of course, because of this time of year, too, the wear and tear that not only has on the body, but also on us emotionally as well. So I want to talk about that. What has that been like for you to introduce that to people, to let them know that this is something that can not only help them physically, but also help them even when it comes to maybe even getting better sleep or being more at ease throughout the day?
Cyrus, it's funny that you say that because a lot of times when I talk with individuals, like, I don't really try to sell it really hard. I just say, go out and take a little bit of time and research it, because there's so much scientific studies and peer-reviewed studies on this, thousands and thousands of reviews of this technology. And it's very frustrating for me that these types of modalities are available, but they're not really promoted in a way that can help people. And that's really what Lux is about. We're about bringing this to the masses because it can help with so much. The thing I noticed right away, and you mentioned it, is sleep. When I implemented it into my life, this increases the melatonin production within your body, which helps with the natural cycle of sleep. And interestingly enough, as I'm always researching this modality of red light and infrared light therapy, Cleveland Clinic just announced, and they were talking about how melatonin production and people with high levels of this in their system have less severe cases of COVID-19. And this is, again, you can't really tie those two things together because it's so new. And I don't want to try to relate that this is a cure to that. But overall, this type of product provides a cellular foundation and cellular change that really bulletproofs a lot of your systems and helps you feel better. And frankly, if we can provide just a little reprieve for people to get a little more sleep and they feel a little bit better for their next day and they're a little less depressed, Lux Therapy will have been worth it, in my opinion.
Right. So I want to talk about what you just said, because I think it has to be, as you said, it has to be a frustrating thing when you have a product that work and is beneficial because what it's done for you. And then, of course, making the sale, as it were, as an entrepreneur. One thing I think, to go back to the doc for a moment, I thought was really interesting was you started off on that journey with someone, but there came a point when you had to be by yourself, and yet you kept going. So what do you think has helped you, even in this journey as an entrepreneur, Tony, to be able to keep going, to keep sharing, even when there are people who don't get it, who don't understand?
It's something that I've kind of learned from that experience right there. That was kind of the turning point of that whole trip, because when you're going through something and it wasn't easy up to that point, but when you have someone that you can rely on, it's not the same type of journey that when you are able to figure out and be challenged by yourself and you come out of that. There's a different level of understanding about what that means and how you can improve from those scenarios. Those types of situations, and it's funny you should mention kind of the adversities that went along with that trip. As I was going through that trip, the thing I noticed, because of the repetitive nature of the days, every day I was doing the same thing, I was really able to do almost very interesting research and development on myself and how I reacted to the adversities that I was going through. And what I found is every time there was something bad that happened, something really cool or something great would happen within a few days. So by the end of the trip, whenever something bad would happen, my attitude was, that's fine, bring it on. I'm ready for what's next. And even now with Lux Therapy, we're doing that every day. Every day there's challenges of being an entrepreneur. But I know, and I'm passionate about this product and what I'm bringing to the world, in a way that I know that this is going to change people's lives. And I've seen it with my parents. I've seen it with my family. I've seen it myself. And I think it sounds like you have some interest in it as well. It's very interesting about the research that's there. And again, I'd bring it on. Whatever they want to throw at us, we can take it, and we're going to change the world, one device at a time.
Right. And what's so great about that, also one home at a time. We're going to talk about that and how people can actually literally bring this into their homes. I want to say, for those who are just tuning in, either on the radio side or online, you're listening to Conversations Live. Tony Kovicak is our guest for this segment of Lux Therapy. We're talking to Tony not only about the journey he's been on physically in his life and the challenges he's been able to meet, but also now, of course, as an entrepreneur, what he's able to share with individuals when it comes to light therapy and the benefits and how Lux Therapy can help to literally bring that home for you. So, 2020, with all that it has had, Tony, definitely there is a great opportunity here, right, for us to take care of ourselves at home instead of people having to worry about making an appointment to go somewhere. Talk to us about that. What has that been like on the plus side for you to share with people how they can literally bring this help into their homes?
It's amazing, and it's something that I continue to echo. I feel like, whenever I'm talking about this, you remember the guy from my big fat Greek wedding? He's always using Windex. I'm the guy that's always using red light therapy. So everybody in the family is like, I hear them talking about something like, hey, you know what you should do? Put the red light on it, and it's kind of a joke, but it's true. This thing, for example, a month and a half ago, I was playing basketball with my nephews and rolled my ankle, and immediately got the red light going. Put it on there, and within a couple days, I was up moving around a little hobbled, but I had a pretty serious sprain, and within a month, I was back to normal. For example, I'm using the light right now. I have it underneath my desk in a way that allows me to basically integrate this into my life. And that's really the key, is that with people being, cooped up is the wrong word, but, we're having to shift gears in regards to how we as a society kind of embrace what is upon us. And this provides them a little reprieve, and it actually helps them in a variety of ways. Not that we have, covered everything, but, things like it helps to even out your moods and anxiety. It helps with skin. It helps with tissue repair. It helps with, wrinkles and things of that nature. So whatever your ailments are, put the red light on it is what I say.
Yeah, and I think that is the cool thing. How much of this is about education, Tony? We're about to give out the website and let our audience know where they can find out more information, but how much is that, have you found that to be really the key, that if people did know about it, that they would be more prone to take advantage of it?
It's totally, Cyrus, exactly what you mentioned. It's all about the education, because this thing is an investment, and because of the snake oil and the things of that are out there, it can be a challenge for people to adopt this into their lives, and that's why we're very transparent about how we actually promote our product. We put all of our sources on our website. We basically list all of those. I have a neurologist on my team that basically vets everything and goes through and makes sure what we're actually looking at and what we're promoting is true. And it's something that we really feel strongly about. And people can reach out to us through the website at luxtherapy.com and direct message us with whatever their ailments are. And basically what I've always done is I've given the research for them to basically take to their clinician, because it's really important for people to incorporate this in a way that makes sense for them. Everybody's different, and the way that this product works is, you can overdo it, but there isn't really a lot of side effects that you will notice. You just won't get the positive results that you would get if you actually used it in kind of a clinical type of treatment dosage. So that's really the key for us, is that we're very transparent, and it is about education, Cyrus. It's something that once you read the studies and you dig in, we actually have the database of studies on our website that allow you to go in, look at whatever your ailment is, and basically look at the research papers yourself. It's super important, and we're very transparent about that. We want to actually let people decide on their own, and it's key. It's key to making sure that the industry is kind of promoted in a positive way. I think everybody in the country could benefit from one of these devices, whether it's mine or our company's or another company's. It's something that will help us as a human species, in my opinion.
Well, I think that is the great thing, I think, for people to be able to get the information and to be able to, as you said, to be able to dig into that and then see the benefits. I think that's the great thing. As you mentioned it here, Tony, luxtherapy.com is that website. That's luxtherapy.com is where you guys can go. Again, everyone, Tony Kovicak has been our guest. Tony, great conversation with you, man. Glad you could stop by, and looking forward to having you back on the show again.
Cyrus, I appreciate it. Thanks for all your time. Have a happy holidays, and appreciate your time again.
Hey, glad to do it. Definitely glad our mutual friend Zach Tepperman set up this chat with us for today, and thank all of you, our audience, for tuning in to another great segment of Conversations Live. Until next time, I'm your host, Cyrus Webb, saying, as always, enjoy your day, enjoy your life, enjoy your world. Thank you all for choosing Conversations Live, and let's go make today amazing. Take care.